It's time to regulate. It's time to regulate, my friends. Hello, you in the Trigger Proof group. I just wanted to welcome, if you are brand new, just going to give a moment for people to jump on, but I wanted to welcome you if you're brand new to the group. And of course, whenever I'm on, there's people just going crazy with Facebook posts and little messages. I just wanted to say welcome. Today, we are bringing you back to basics as to why you are here. That's the first place to begin. When in doubt, when you get triggered, your first awareness after you kind of bring yourself back into your body is to remind yourself why you're here. What are you here for? Why are you here? Why are you doing this work? Why are you dedicating yourself? Regulators, mount up. That's right. My fellow Quarantinos. It's good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I just went, hey, Melinda, what's going on? I see you, Joe. I'm just going to get you connected with your breath. Let's get grounded right away. If you're on here, it's because you've been scrolling through social media. And if you were paying attention to what's going on inside your body, it's telling you exactly what's happening in your unconscious mind. And most of the time, around 95% of your day, you spend completely dissociated from what's going on in your unconscious mind. That's why they call it unconscious. So the whole goal of becoming trigger proof is for you to make the unconscious conscious, because when you make the unconscious conscious, all of a sudden you expand that space between your stimulus and the responses. And then what ends up happening is you now have a choice in the creation of your life, rather than noticing the continuous patterns, because if you don't learn this, you'll notice continuous patterns going on and you're literally driven. You think you're the one in control, but in actuality, you are actually driven by unconscious complexes, as Carl Jung talks about. And so Carl Jung says, unless you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life and you will think that it's fate. So I just wanted to welcome you. Hey, Stephanie, I'm grateful that you're here. I'm so thankful you're offering to help me take care of me as I'm holding space, regulating our patients. Thank you. That's exactly why I'm here. In fact, I'm going to encourage you. Part of this, if you're new to this, if you're new to the party, this is blown up, like over 450 members in like 3 days already. And this is blowing up. The reason why is because the most important people depend on you. And once you start learning and participating, which everybody, I've been getting messages from you, please keep them coming. I'm in isolation and quarantine, self-quarantine, just voluntarily, and I'm in this with you. And so the messages that I'm getting is simply by participating on the call and paying attention and engaging with me, because of the work that I'm doing on my methodology of nervous system regulation, it has a compounding kind of exponential effect, a viral effect on your community. I got it to such a degree where patients would just walk into the room and say, Dr. Nima, I feel better just walking in. You haven't even adjusted me yet. And it'd be like, yes, that's because your nervous system is giving off energy. And the question you're going to be consistently asked, and that I'm going to continuously bring you back to when you pay attention to these and really engage with these lessons, the question is, what am I putting into my field right now? Because there is a field of energy around us that is impacted by what we think and how we feel. Those are the things, and it's this big kind of shift that we have to make, because most of the time when we're walking around unconscious, we're expecting the outside world to kind of change and to restructure so that we can finally find a little bit of peace inside here. This is what we do. This is a natural kind of human expectation. The majority of the planet lives like this. The message that I'm trying to share with you is that it actually works backwards, is that instead of relying on the outside world, on Donald Trump, on Q, on your boss, on, the government, on bailouts to change this thing here, this internal kind of dialogue that's going on here, and the internal sensations that are going on here. Basically, what we're saying is, I want the world to shift so that the internal dialogue that's happening here and the internal feelings that are happening here, they can go back to feeling peaceful. But that never fucking works. Because when the outside shifts, or let's say you've ever tried to move to another location, or you're like, let me just leave here because this environment sucks. And then you move to another continent, and you're bringing this and this with you, and you're thinking that by leaving that, I'm going to be safe over there. And then lo and behold, within a short period of time, what ends up happening is you start to repeat. You're like, oh my God, I'm in freaking China, but I'm running into the same problems. And I'm here to address that little kind of phenomenon, is just make you aware of that. And if you're resonating with it, please hit the like button or comment. I really want to hear from you, because this is the engagement that we have. I miss being hugged. I haven't been hugged in a long time. You know what I mean? And that plays a role in your body. So when I'm not in control of all of those things and I'm present to what's happening, I miss being hugged. I miss physical contact. I haven't seen my partner in like 3 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know how long it's been now. It starts to unconsciously, things start to happen in your body, and you start to become dysregulated. And then what will happen is you start to get triggered a lot easier. And the reason why you're here is because you now recognize that the outside world is beyond your control, and you're recognizing with the fact and realizing and wanting to put your hand up and say, okay, I'm going to take responsibility. But not just for me, it's for very important people in my life. So when we begin, I always love to go back to your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you here? Why are you dedicating yourself to self-healing? Why are you dedicating yourself to becoming trigger-proof and taking responsibility? And I don't want you to say my kids. I want you to tell me the names. I want to see the names so that when I read this after I'm done, I can look and say, oh my gosh, we're doing this for Roland's daughter, Phoenix. Okay, we're doing this for so-and-so, Stephanie's patients. I want to see names. What are the names of the people who are going to be impacted by you becoming more regulated? That's really what's the most important thing right now for you. And the awareness, that's the first part that I want you to realize. And the second part that I want you to I want to remind you while you're, kind of pulled into unconsciousness again and again and again. My job is to continuously bring you back into yourself, into the moment, into the truth of who you are. That the outside world that is changing, we don't have to wait for that to change in our favor in order for us to shift what's going on here and here. Because that's really what it's all about. And this methodology I've come up with is there to help you actually go back to self-soothe and soothe the parts of you that are being activated all around you by what's going on. Because if you've been participating in previous broadcasts that I've done, please do go back to day 1 and day 2 and do the exercises. Everyone is building on the one before. If you've gone back and looked at that and you've been, playing along so far, you really get that what's happening outside, it's not really about a virus. It's not really about the whole, financial thing and all of that. That's very real, and that's right in my face, just like yours. But when I really look at it, it's actually coming from a past unresolved or a younger version of me that needs my attention, that's looking to me in the same boat. If you can recall, this transitional anxiety, this time where you were in the unknown, where you weren't certain about how things were going to happen, and you got through it, but this is reminding you of then. I'm going to encourage you to sit as you're chilling right now, sitting and listening. I want you to check into your body and into your breath. And surrendering the exhale. 3 deep breaths, and just become aware of your breath and notice the tension in your rib cage as you expand, probably because you've been holding your breath, if you've been, like most people, going through the anxiety of it. And I'm going to encourage you to surrender that exhale. Great, Laura. Kalila and Ilan. The pronunciation wasn't right. Stephanie, that's great. Lucy, Claire, and Vince. Cool. Stay connected with your breath. Notice it. Notice the muscles that are tense in your face. Check your jaw. Kind of notice it. Notice if you're holding your shoulders as earrings, which makes sense because you're, like I said, protecting your carotid arteries. I want you to surrender the exhale and relax and put your hand over the area where there's the most congestion, if you're like the collective. And I want you to go back to your earliest memory where this is the same level of uncertainty, the same level of will I be okay, that lack of safety that you feel. I want you to go back to that one where you didn't know whether or not, how things were going to go, how things were going to pan out. I did this exercise this morning and I went back to a earlier time when I was in chiropractic school, and I was adjusting patients outside of clinic, and I got in trouble for it. And so I was in a hearing. There was like a disciplinary hearing going on, and I didn't know whether I was going to graduate or they were going to suspend me because I was adjusting people. I was so inspired by it. I went outside the rules. And there was a period of about a month where I didn't know what was going on. And this feels exactly like that. What is that for you? I want you to go back to that time and kind of go in and meet yourself there. For those of you who are my clients, we do this on group calls. It's super easy. You'll get it. But I want you to go back and meet yourself there. And sitting next to that individual, and this might be weird to you if this is new, but I want you to go ahead and hug that individual. And really let them know that you see them and that it makes total sense why they're so anxious, they're so outside of themselves, they're so ashamed. What are all the feelings going on? Fearful, unsafe. They don't feel like themselves. They don't know who they are. What are all the feelings? Can you actually awaken your inner parent and see that individual like a child, like you would your own child that you care so deeply about? Can you see them and really be there for them? And as you're soothing them and you're holding them and you're having them feel empathized with and seen, notice their body starting to relax. Notice the muscles starting to relax, the facial muscles, the shoulders, and the breath all normalizing. I want you to tell them exactly what it is that they're needing to hear right now. All the mysteries going on in their mind. What do they need to hear from you? And pay attention closely to what you're saying to them. Really go in and do this. I want you to participate with me. This is not a spectator show. This is actually nervous system regulation tools that you need to get yourself back into yourself. Pay attention to what you're saying to yourself right now. And now ask them what they need from you. I did this exercise earlier. Mine said, just bring me along. Keep me with you while this is happening. Now here's the key. Watch this. I want you to tell them all the amazing things that are going on in your life right now that they only wished that they could have back then. that they were just so in the dark. And bring that version of you with you now to look at all of the amazing things that you have in your life that you only dreamed of. Kind of like the ghost of Christmas past. It's a neat exercise. Try it. I told that version of me that I'm going to have a great career and I'm going to be doing what I love and that I'm going to have a baby and I'm getting married to this amazing human being. And that everything that you're learning, that everything that you went through, you actually was a stepping stone. Share with them what a blessing that experience actually was. What came of it? Feel the gratitude in your life right now, looking at yourself from that perspective of that guy or girl who was stuck in that environment, not knowing where they could go. From their perspective, looking at you, how are you doing? How you doing? I want you to feel the gratitude in your body as you express to them all of the amazing that is happening as a result. That's happening now. If you've just jumped on, make sure you go back and watch the replay of this. It's a short but sweet, quick and dirty. Now feel the gratitude for what you have, and at the same time, listen for the advice that you gave that younger self. What were they telling you? What is it that you were telling you? Listen to that advice. And now use that looking forward back to our day one lesson, which is your vivid vision of what you want to accomplish through this event, on the other side of this event. Who are you going to be? What contribution that you're making, the connections. Really feel that into that in your body. And I'm going to get you to now ask the universe for a sign with your intentions moving forward, fully resourced, that there is a connection, that there is an answering to this call, this kind of mystical dance with the universe. Ask for a sign. They come, they show up again and again. And you can open your eyes. And I'm curious to know, right in the comment section, what was the guidance that you were giving yourself at that time that you can take right now in this transitional limbo state that you can literally apply now and share. Mine from that young guy was, bring me along with you. So literally that guy, the one that was in school, the 25-year-old, 24-year-old version of me was literally here this whole time having this talk with you, the whole time going, oh my God, what we're doing is so cool. And the cool thing is when you can see both perspectives and you're able to see it from that perspective, you now have a firm grasp of reality and you have control over your mind. You have a say over how you feel. And now you're resourced moving forward. So that is your lesson for today. I want to do some Q&A tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Be back here at that time. Let me know what your greatest takeaways were. I have an interview right away, right now, for another podcast. This message is getting out there like crazy. If you have a podcast or you know somebody that really needs to hear this message, please let me know. Send me a DM. And yeah, I really love being here and having this. I look forward to these conversations. It puts me in a place where I need to show up resourced for you. This responsibility that I'm taking on is not just for you, it's actually for me. That's why I'm encouraging you to go out there and actually take on this responsibility of becoming trigger proof for those people that mean the most to you. And I want you to, while you've been doing this, you've probably thought of 2 or 3 people that you know need to be here practicing with us. I want you to go ahead and invite them in the group and introduce them to what we're doing. And I would love to contribute to them as well.
Make sure you subscribe.
See you guys tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. See you then.